my Arthur Morgan in my game of Red Dead has the exact same facial hair that you have right now, and that's a
Oh,
good.
that's awesome.
That's a good thing. I swear to God, Patrick, move that cursor off of his face.
And you are so cursor triggered.
Well, it's just
He
like
wiped it off. There we go.
we end the show every time the same way, so now it's gonna start every time the same way.
Oh man,
Sorry.
Let's see.
10 out of 10, Brad, on that mustache.
Thank you very much.
yeah, that's like the old west.
I like it. I'm kind of Red Dead inspired at the moment. I can actually pull this off.
You look like a villain,
I
a
like
good-looking villain.
That's the kind you want.
Yeah,
You
not a
implying he
stupid-
ain't?
What?
Don't imply that he ain't a villain. Have you seen his honor meter on Red Dead?
Is it pretty high?
Yeah, it's probably
maxed.
maxed out.
Honor meter?
You maxed out
Red
on
Dead.
the honor, huh?
Yeah, it's really easy. Just hunting and killing animals and taking their skin and flesh and selling it for a profit. That's cool. You're a good guy for doing that.
Got points.
Yeah, it gives you honor points for killing stuff. So
Yeah,
it's-
and
yeah.
like feeding your horse and petting your horse and brushing your
I'd
horse.
like to run over random pedestrians and dogs in the different cities.
Feel free to. Feel absolutely
Lower-
free to. There's
lower
nothing to stop you.
I killed a
Score.
deer just running into it.
Yeah.
You know, I
Pretty
bet
cool.
I bet they did that because online, even more so than in single player, people are just going to be fucking around and being assholes. I mean, to NPCs or real players, but you're more likely in an online setting, especially if you're rolling with your friends, to steal from innocent people and shit like. I'm sure that was why they made it so easy to max out your honor thing. Don't you think?
I just think it's so you can do whatever you want as long as you're just not a super horrible person. You'll be fine.
I appreciate the paraphrasing.
Yeah, you, have to do you just have to do some horrible shit. But,
Yeah, you have to make it by.
But like, if you're in Butcher Creek and you like expose that fucking like fake shaman guy, you know what I'm talking about? Did you guys do that quest?
Oh. Yeah.
Anyway,
The one
I
I
don't
saw
know.
in snake oil that was killing people.
Oh yeah.
not
Oh,
that.
not that
This is later on. This is
Oh,
way
okay.
later on. If you're just starting, you don't know it. But anyway, basically, anyway, I won't give all the details, but you expose this guy for being full of shit, and then it's just a town full of hillbillies,
Mhm.
and they still won't believe you. They're just like, I don't know. He said we was cursed. We were all cursed, and they won't believe it. And the guy, you just say, get the fuck out of here before I kill you. But the guy basically just starts running around in circles around the town with his arms in the air, just screaming, like he's just like,
I've got the curse.
and he just keeps running around, and I'm just riding out of town, and I see him run by, and I just kind of just fucking bump into him with my horse and knock him over.
Yeah.
It's just really funny.
I think I do know. I found that guy like under some train tracks or something, and took him back to the town. I just haven't been back to visit yet. Yeah.
It's
Owen,
really-
I think is his name. Owen something.
Yeah. That's where I'm talking about.
Yeah. Well, good. I'm anxious to go back.
I feel like I would have remembered something like that.
Yeah, it's
The way it was described, made it was like, oh yeah, I'd know if this happened to me. Sure, it hasn't.
there's a lot of crazy stuff in between, which is all of that game. There's
Yeah.
always crazy stuff in between.
The KKK guys are hilarious because it just seems like they're always having a bad day.
So let me ask you, apparently there's a quest where you go and fuck with the KKK. You do something.
I don't know about a quest. I've found them
I never
twice.
found-
I've found them twice in the wilderness, and just just cruising around, wasn't looking for them, and then just saw light. It was at night, and I was able to see firelight, through the trees, and then approached it, and it was a KKK rally.
I do have a vague memory that I might have been really drunk and then ran into them and got killed, but I might have just been watching a video of somebody doing that.
Yeah,
'Cause some of my nights playing that game have been like that. But I
yeah,
would like to encounter the KKK and see what happens there.
yeah. Well, fear not, taking the guy hostage or killing him, whatever, because you'll get good guy points for that.
That sounds good. Good, good. So,
That's not how mine went. I ended up getting a warrant because I tried to hog tie him and he got away. And then I tried to hog tie him again. I left him there and somebody rolled up and saw it and was like, well, this doesn't look good. Not taking into the account that he has a white hood on. Yeah.
Oh.
So,
yeah, nowadays you can just do about anything you want to with somebody in a white hood.
No one's gonna look down on you.
the times have changed.
No witnesses. So before we started, I got a moment of inspiration and looked on top of the refrigerator downstairs, and we have finest. It says right here, finest quality sugarcane spirit, Cachaca from Brazil.
If that is the finest, I don't know.
It says it on the bottle.
It says it right there.
Sounds legit to me.
It's the finest in the third world.
Now,
What's it called again? Let me look it up.
Cachaca.
Cachaca.
made from sugar.
Cachaca.
It's rum.
All right, I just spelled it the best way I know how.
I bet you spelled it right.
It's Cachac with a little curly thing on the bottom of it, and then A.
See, Cachaca.
And so I said, I wanted more booze, so I said, well, we'll do a shot of this. And then Becca had a great idea, and she decided to add, what is that?
1 squirt of Crystal Light strawberry lemonade flavoring.
Yeah.
So it's going to make the shot taste a little bit less like nail polish remover for us.
Well, I'm still trying the shot by itself.
So yeah,
It
Patrick
reeks.
hasn't had it. It smells like
Turpentine.
it smells like tequila mixed with gasoline. That's what it smells like.
That wine, like some bad
So
wine.
first,
I
let's
smell
have
that too.
Patrick try it just straight for all of us
Okay.
and describe.
Ugh. Drank it all.
I heard the gulp.
It's not as bad as what I thought it was going to be.
Patrick's played it cool.
It's not the bad.
It's not the bad.
Not bad.
I can't
I felt like
make words, but it not
I
bad.
know. I honestly thought it was
It's
not
okay.
bad.
I felt like Patrick was like, "Be cool, be cool, be cool."
No, no.
Don't make the pucker face. Don't do it. Oh.
No, I don't care about making a pucker face, but
Remember all that shitty vodka?
Yeah.
Remember all that shitty vodka?
Depending on how much
can't
of
do
this
that.
Crystal Light shit I put in these shots, though, we might be making the pucker face for,
Is that
for
got
a
a
different
shitload of
reason.
caffeine in it?
No,
Isn't there a Lady Gaga song about that?
Crystal
oh
Light?
yeah,
Pat Patrick's pucker face. Patrick's pucker face. Pat Patrick's fucker face. Pat pucker face.
There you go, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
something like that.
So now we will try the strawberry lemonade Cachaca
Cachaca. We get cheers in it?
post Thanksgiving.
Cheers.
Post
cheers.
Thanksgiving. Cachaca.
Cheers,
Cachaca.
everyone.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I mean, caffeine's the first ingredient in it.
Is it?
Yeah.
Really?
Whoa.
Oh,
Oh, that's okay.
Look at Becca.
That's okay.
Oh my god.
yeah, that was a lot.
It's more of the Crystal Light.
Yeah,
It's, oh,
Yeah, that's the Crystal Light is what we're getting. It's not the
yeah.
alcohol.
That Crystal Light.
Yeah.
Oh.
Let me wash this down with some more alcohol.
I put way too much in there.
You're gonna have a heart attack.
No. Holy cow. I feel like a dragon. I feel like the breath I am breathing out of my mouth is
Got that dragon
pure
energy.
fire. Oh my
Fryer.
god.
Fryer tuck.
Capillary eliminating alcohol.
It is. It's not the bad. It's the fryer fire.
Yeah.
So Nathan, you need to take a shot because apparently you can't make words after you take this shot.
He did.
What's that?
Did you already take your shot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, we all did it at the same time.
oh, that's
I mean,
weird.
I don't take shots.
No.
Dave, you lied to me. This doesn't have caffeine in it.
I lied. Maybe I lied. Maybe I didn't.
You did.
I mean, maybe.
It's good. And I just quit caffeine again. I completely quit caffeine.
Why?
I'm glad I didn't make you relapse.
Why?
Because I was drinking large iced coffees and then feeling like going to sleep right after. And that can't be normal.
No.
And then I was having weird anxiety issues. Like, and I started to notice it was like, this is like after I'm drinking coffee. Like, I'm having this really weird shit
Huh.
going on. So I just started to cut out the coffee. And then for a week I was just drinking soda, just like Coke Zero,
Mm-hmm.
and then I cut that out a few days ago. And I haven't had a headache, so I did it better this time because last time I quit caffeine, I just did cold turkey and I had like the worst headaches imaginable.
Mm-hmm.
But weaning off, I was able to get off that shit.
Let's get some snaps for Nathan.
Thanks. Yeah,
He quit caffeine.
caffeine. It's like it's a serious drug.
It
You
is.
don't realize
I don't know what you're talking about.
it's a drug, Dave.
Dave, but he never sleeps though, so he hasn't hit that point where he drinks enough caffeine that makes him just want to go to sleep.
At what point do people usually get these headaches? Because I drink a Red Bull like pretty much every day, except a lot of times on my off days I don't drink one.
Go completely cold turkey. I mean, like no Red Bull, no Mountain Dew, Pepsi, whatever you're drinking.
No
Yeah.
tea.
Drink all caffeine free, no tea, no coffee of any kind.
But
And
wouldn't it be like don't usually people that drink caffeine every day? Don't they usually the next day, like the first day of no caffeine, it's like headache.
you could
Yeah,
Eventually.
I had
could.
some headaches my first
a
week
day or
doing it.
two.
Huh.
Yeah, a
Okay.
couple days, a day or two.
It usually just takes me until like 4 p.m. Like I'm fine for most of the morning, and then around the afternoon, my brain's like, "Hello, we've been up for a long time now. Where is this shit?" And then I get the headache.
I want to get one of these headaches.
What?
I've never had one of these caffeine headaches.
Try it.
It's like the worst hangover, but it goes all day without stopping.
And ibuprofen doesn't make it go. It like dulls it slightly, but it does not go away. It is still there. You can't get rid of that headache.
We'll see about that.
You just have to sleep it off.
It's not like
Challenge accepted.
It's not like a thing that's made up. It's like there's
They're
science
legit
behind
things,
why
yeah.
that happens.
Yeah, I
I
know.
don't remember what it is.
Would it be
but
like going through withdrawals?
I mean,
Yeah, it's just
Steve-O
withdrawals.
says, Steve-O's going, yeah, like, it doesn't happen to me.
I'm just curious. I mean, I drink Red Bull every day that I work, and then whenever I'm not working, I don't, and I've never had a
that
headache
might
from
not
it.
be enough because
Yeah.
there's not
Mhm.
nearly as much caffeine in a Red Bull as in a large Starbucks iced coffee.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
not
okay.
even close.
Oh, I
That's
thought
like
it was.
300 milligrams
Oh.
of caffeine.
A
And
big
Red
difference
Bull is
between-
probably like 80 or
Yeah.
90.
Actually, Red Bull, for all it saying it has wings, is probably one of the lower caffeine ones.
Just weak.
I don't drink it because they can only manage to, for a long time, only could manage 2 flavors, and you
One
know,
was sugar free.
yeah, and I always prefer the sugar free, and that's not always there, but
I did like your lime.
Yeah.
yeah.
When it was
now,
in the-
now,
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, the
now
lime
they've
was
got
good,
different
yeah.
flavors because they went, you know what, people like difference.
The lime one is my favorite. It tastes exactly like lime sherbet.
Yeah, I mean, this Rockstar I'm drinking is 240.
Mhm.
And Jesse had one at the store the other day I had never seen, and it was a super one, and it was over 300.
Yeah.
It was 320 or something like that.
That's not good. It's not good for you.
Did any of you guys tune in to the Mars landing, by the way?
I watched a bit of it.
I just tuned into your posts about it.
Yeah, that was cool. Just like I went into all that detail 2 weeks ago. You remember all the words I was able to get out about it, and
Yeah.
no interruptions or anything. Remember that?
Yeah.
Really? No interruptions?
No. No, I wasn't able to say much about it, but it was pretty cool. I mean,
I didn't
man,
know what was happening.
watching that shit is so. It happens so rarely that I guess you don't like just get used to seeing it, But seeing all those people in there, it's that these people have been working on this, many of them for like 10, 15 years, and to finally come to this day, and they're sitting at their consoles and they're staring at numbers they can't do anything about. I thought it was kind of funny at one point they were doing their readiness poll, go no go on whatever, and it's like even if anybody says, oh no, we're not good on this, there was literally nothing they could do. If they say they decided, okay, well this system is not ready, they couldn't just fly by and then go into orbit and then try again tomorrow, because if they didn't hit the atmosphere and let the atmosphere will slow them down, if they don't do that part, they just continue around Mars and then fling back out into space.
Mm-hmm.
And then they orbit, the sun forever. I thought one of the coolest parts about it, these two little CubeSats they were called Marco A and Marco B. They were about the size.
That's the coolest, yeah.
Yeah, I thought they kind of stole the show because they were essentially testing out a new capability because we have this thing called the Deep Space Network, which is just a series of satellites that we have placed throughout the solar system, and they're not just for communications. I don't know all of the satellites that are included in this, but there's at least one around Mars, and then there's some other places. But obviously, it's to relay data from one point back to Earth. But this was sort of testing out this new thing. Like, what if instead of completely replacing the existing network that we have, because it's crazy to think of it, but it's aging, and our deep space network is getting close to being needed to be replaced. So they have these two little CubeSats that are going to relay the signal from the InSight lander back to Earth. And if it didn't work, it was no big deal, but we wouldn't have known right away that the lander had landed safely. We would have had to wait until the MRO spacecraft, which is the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, it just orbits Mars, it would have picked up InSight signal and then relayed the data back to us, and we'd have been waiting hours, which isn't a big deal, but it's kind of neat, this new idea of, like, how about whenever we send these probes out into deep space, let's send a couple little transmitters that can relay the signal back to us, and then we don't need this huge infrastructure of the Deep Space Network.
So yeah, it's like Enterprise sending out probes.
And, it also took the mass off of, even though they had to have the mass to go up, to get it into space, they didn't have to deal with that mass on the landing. And in 6.5 minutes, they went from 12,000 miles per hour to 0.
Yeah.
That's just badass. Them's good brakes.
Yeah.
I want those brakes.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty cool. They said that they're probably in the middle of doing the checks now, but here in a few months they're actually going to start drilling. I guess that, like, they only have obviously a small radius around them that they can even reach with their arm, because this is a lander. It's not a rover. This thing's never going to move again, and they are going to just what? Oh, was I just hearing myself? Yeah, it keeps echoing back to me. Yeah, I don't know. That's why I keep pulling my earphone off. Oh man, it's so distracting. But anyway, they're gonna meticulously analyze all the dirt around them and then decide what little spot they need to drill into, and then it's gonna go 16 feet down if they can. Obviously, it's possible that they can't make it that far, but that's how far they can go if it's possible. 16 feet into Martian soil. And they're going to be able to measure earthquakes and meteor impacts and possibly find underground lakes, which could give us a much bigger picture of where the water is, how much of it there is, where we might be able to go whenever humans go, like what would be a good place for us to find water and, use it, split it into hydrogen, oxygen. You can make fuel. You can mix it with other elements, and you can get methane if that's what you, because hydrogen is just some rockets have used hydrogen in throughout history, but it's a hard element to handle because it's very small. It will leak through the walls of the tank.
Steve-O, there's one thing I really don't like about it, though.
What?
And it's NASA's Twitter account, and they are having the lander speak from first person.
Yeah. There's one for Curiosity as well.
Going out there like, I landed, and I'm waiting to reboot my system.
Yeah.
I'll see you later.
Oh no!
Like, shut the fuck up, whoever it is.
No.
It's the InSight lander. It's tweeting.
Hi, I'm InSight.
You know what I thought
landed.
was cool was when they were showing some of the tools that are on the lander, and when it was getting set right over the drill bit, you can see they've got these shrouds because it's intended to get messy, so they're trying to control the dust and instrumentation, because when that thing came up, it had a little boot right over it.
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought, wow, That's smart.
Always wear your boot when you land on Mars, kids.
That's right.
Always. Raincoat in the rain, boot when you're on Mars.
Yeah.
It's going to get dirty.
It's gonna get dirty. Yeah.
So I asked you guys a question not too long ago, and I'm serious. I want to answer from everybody. Yeah,
Was that the question?
I'm serious.
I think I remember what
Here
the
it is.
question was.
Here it is. What's the meaning of life? What is it? I want everybody's answer to that question. What they think, what they feel the meaning of life is.
Well, who wants to go first because they're so they're so confident that they're right.
Never thought about it, Nathan.
You never thought about
Nope.
what your life is for, what life is for.
My life? Or
Yeah, your life,
No.
life, the universe. You never thought about it.
No.
I think I
Just
try
wander
not
through.
to.
Yeah.
Kind of.
I'm ready to go, but mine's kind of
I'll
a
take
downer.
that answer.
Well,
Think about it now.
that's what I'm trying to do, and I'm realizing that this thought does enter my head a lot, but I just immediately push it out because for some reason I just avoid thinking about it.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, either
Because
the
there
answer,
be dragons.
either the answer is depressing or
It's like it's the universal rhetorical question.
Yeah, I mean, I think the answer for me, the whole reason I stopped thinking about it is because there's so much more bigger than me. So all I can control is certain things around me, and so the meaning of life for me is whatever keeps me going.
what you make
Because
of it.
because the generalized question, yeah, I mean, of what is the meaning of life? I mean, that's like Dalai Lama shit, man.
Mhm,
I mean, and I don't even think that the Dalai Lama's answer is going to be the correct answer because it's subjective.
So you're saying the meaning of life is subjective.
Yeah,
So
to
that is
each
your
person, it's different.
So you're saying there is no ultimate meaning outside of
No.
the individual human perception.
No, there is no one. There's no
pretty,
meaning in life. It is what you make of it.
So God, real.
Life's what you make of it. Life is a highway, baby.
And I've always said that there is some common thread that connects everything. And if that's the meaning of life, then that be it.
What if the meaning of life is prosperity? So think about this. What if the meaning of life
Dave's
is
face.
everybody's life contributing to the lives that follow theirs? And so, like everybody, it just things getting better constantly with time.
It's not like that now.
Or that's what it's supposed to be
Yeah,
like.
yeah. We're selfish motherfuckers now.
Is it not like that now? We just landed some other piece of shit on Mars that's sending us shit back. And
Right before our Earth gets
Mars
hot.
better there.
And there was roughly probably 1,000th of a percent of humanity watching or that knew about it. I think that wasn't it. Whenever I looked, what was it, Brad? It was like 240,000 people were watching, and it was
Yes.
only like 20 minutes from landing or something. It was
yeah,
really
like
close.
he's saying the progress isn't now, but it is. There's always progress.
There is, and I agree with Dave, and I think completely, but I don't think there is a meaning. There's not like an objective meaning. That there's nothing to give us meaning, and the universe doesn't care. The matter, the elements that happen to coalesce to form balls of gas and rock and whatever, they don't care. They happen to come together and just a chance occurrence that made some of those molecules started moving on their own and replicating themselves, and eventually over billions of years became able to contemplate that notion of what is the meaning of life. But I don't think there's anything inherent. I think that it's up to whatever the being is that's asking that question. It's up to them to decide, and that's to me that's not depressing, because the universe is our playground. Whatever we want to do with it, we can do. And I think, to Becca's point, it's in order for us to continue doing this, it's important that we focus on who's coming after us, because if we only try to have fun in our lifetime, then there's not going to be much left
Yeah,
for
so stop
others.
throwing your straws at the turtles.
What?
Everybody stop throwing their straws at the turtles.
Here, got a paper straw right here.
Starbucks.
That's the future right there.
We
Turtles
need to
love
stop
paper
making
straws.
trash islands in the Pacific Ocean. Because we got to think about the future here.
Yeah, and I think landing shit on Mars is part of the positive side of what we can be doing, but there's a lot of other shit that we're doing that's kind of offsets that balance.
I mean, you're searching for the meaning of what the meaning of life is, but it is only through your own biases. I mean, it is whatever, and the glasses through which you look, metaphorically speaking, are what you're going to see. I mean, I need to make this part of life better, but the world is so much bigger. I mean, it's like looking out at the universe and thinking that all of this is so, when you start looking at the solar system, you're insignificant. So
We have definitely become a very nihilistic society.
Yeah.
It is very much.
I wonder if the meaning of life is more what is the meaning of existence entirely? What is the meaning of not just my life or anybody's life or human life as a whole, but just what is the reason for the planets being there? We know that they were balls of gas that just collected over time and now they're there. So what caused them to be there? What caused all of it to start?
Yeah, and let me aim this at you, Brad. Beyond the very beginning of, let's say, matter and the universe, but what about the fact of consciousness emerging itself? What is consciousness? And if you really, the fact that we can look and examine ourselves and actually think about our own existence. Is there an ultimate place that might go? Is there a reason that we can do that? Is it just an accident that sort of all these brain parts came together and suddenly we developed this ability to do this?
I wonder if it is just an accident because it's just primordial soup where the first single cell organisms came from. It's just seems like just a random roulette lottery of which chemicals can come together at the certain salinity of the water, a certain temperature to be able to produce life in the first place. So is it?
But what about the idea of consciousness? Like, why of all these self-replicating systems? Because basically what we're carbon-based life forms, right? And the reason we're carbon-based life forms is because carbon is really easy. It bonds easily with other things.
Right, and it's very prevalent.
Yeah,
it's fucking everywhere.
So carbon started to create these molecules, and these molecules became proteins. And basically these proteins, because they have a certain shape, these proteins connect together and they fold into a certain pattern. And over these folds, they start to connect with other things. And then along down the line, we have amino acids, and then we end up with DNA.
Right.
And then we have DNA, which is basically like an industrial factory that's hyper complex. And then further down, millions of years, we start getting creatures like us that at some point develop the ability to reason and to recognize the self. Basically, the ego emerges. I am able to now say, I am me, and I am sitting here right now, and I can see myself in a mirror, and I can recognize the fact that you are a different entity, that we are sitting in this environment experiencing this thing right now. And then from that branches all of these things that we are at now: technology, art, music. All of these things have just avalanched out into a greater state in the human existence that is beyond just what an animal might do. It has gone beyond that. Does that beyond that? Is it just, well, we can do some cool shit? Or is there, in a sense, is there a goal we're aiming towards? since if you look at the very beginning, things began to combine and collect because of natural laws, and now we have become a species with the ability to do these things. Now we have, in a sense, begun to advance beyond what we naturally could have been.
Right.
So there's always a push toward that in the human species. There's a push toward this kind of advancement. Is there a purpose to that? Is it just it's just a natural evolutionary drive?
We're meant to give birth to AI. That's what the human race is meant for.
Could be. Maybe when we birth the AI, we'll create our own AI, and then our own creators will they'll type a big message on the screen. It'll pop up in the sky and say, "You made it. You graduated. You can all be real people now. Here's the real body."
Just starts raining confetti everywhere.
Yeah, you can be birthed out of your virtual world into the real world. Congratulations.
Congratulations. This is the future where global warming actually took place.
Y2K took place.
So why do you think? I mean, everybody else has said something. So what is the meaning of life for you? Are you just in search, or did you have something in mind when you created this question for us?
It kind of. I mean, I don't know. Personally, my idea is, if you look at evolution and sort of our advancement and the things I was kind of just talking about, it seems to me that the human purpose is to advance. It is to be doing things and working toward something greater. Because I know if I am not working towards something greater, I feel like shit. I feel useless.
Right.
But once you become engaged within a process, it sort of fills that gap of meaning. You attain meaning at that point if you are involved in something, whatever it may be. It could even be trivial, but if you're involved and you're working and you feel responsible for whatever it may be, then you're attaining meaning. So it makes me feel, and I can't say this for sure, but it does make me feel that there's an intrinsic nature within the universe that says, move forward and build to something, whatever that thing may be, but build.
You have a purpose, go fulfill it, but we're not going to tell you what it is. That's what the universe is saying.
Well, I think that we're not that different from animals, and it maybe going all the way back to the first single-celled organisms, they had something. Like if we could somehow put on VR goggles and see it from their perspective, they have some kind of consciousness where they're like, hear me out. They're like, I'm hungry, or I need to shit, or I need to reproduce. And it's a very, very rudimentary version, but there has to be some direction, some voluntary action for that single-celled organism to take. And okay, so maybe that's not what we can call consciousness, but as it evolves into multi-celled organisms, at some point there you end up with like a fish that is making decisions on where to swim to, and then you have mice making a decision on where to hide its cheese or something, and now we're just kind of like the pinnacle of that. Like, we're only acting out our own instinctual desires. Like we have come to this point where having opposable thumbs worked out really good for us, because it gave us the opportunity to make things to make our life easier, so we don't have to spend so much time looking for food and finding someone to fuck. We can kind of pass off those daily tasks to whatever the tools are that we've created, and it gives us time to think. And now it's not necessarily inevitable. I mean, the dinosaurs were around for millions and millions of years, and they, as far as we know, weren't sentient. I think I don't know, is sentient, right?
I mean,
You've ever seen the documentary Dinosaurs?
The T-Rex had a brain that was like smaller than this microphone.
yeah, they
Right.
weren't. Yeah.
It's like, Dave.
So there's some luck involved there, but I do think that we are only acting out our animal instinct, and that's, we've been able to ponder a lot of stuff, and then we decided, oh, I like to have cool shit, and shit just kept getting cooler and cooler. And then we've always had these questions about the stars and the planets, and we're now in an age where we can start to answer some of those questions, and it just keeps pushing further and further. I still think it comes back to that original animal instinct, whatever the human animal instinct is. It's like ants have this innate desire to build an anthill and a colony, and that's what they do. And what we do is kind of like that, just on a grander scale.
Dave, I want to hear your response.
Yeah, let's go. I see Dave shaking his head.
Dave, go down.
The whole time he was.
Dave's been head shaking for 5 minutes.
I mean, I appreciate your opinion.
Wrong as it may be.
That's how you start a rebuttal.
No, I mean I think what Nathan was going at with consciousness, and I don't think you're on the mark.
Okay.
You're talking about primal, basal instincts. Fuck, eat.
And
shit.
Most of what we do is driven by those desires, even though it doesn't look like it. That is what it's driven by.
Well, I mean, I think that you're not recognizing what, and I'm trying to use good words here.
It's not the bad.
Yeah,
It's not
I
bad.
didn't drink any of that vocabulary killing Cachaca. But I mean, I understand that we do a lot of basal things. We have to go, but a lot of what you're describing from single-celled organisms and also multi-celled organisms, but you're still comparing, an ant versus an amoeba. They both still have set functions that do not deviate, aside from a mutation, out of the norm.
Mm-hmm.
We are beyond and past that.
Right.
I mean,
Way beyond.
we do have. I mean, we talked about it on the show about 2-3 weeks ago. Nathan was talking about our basal things. You can all. We want to fuck. We want to eat. And but
what's that talking about?
yeah.
I was probably drunk again.
But what I think differentiates us from insects and the like is that human nature is more three-dimensional than insect nature. It's just
okay. Well, go somewhere more in between, like a chimpanzee.
that's
Like, see, I think where I'm coming from is like it's not like on or off. It's a gradient. Like the most basic.
Well, that's a better response because that is what I thought you were putting down was, well, basically just take a switch and we're just shitting.
No. I mean, it took millions of years, and
we're so far past that.
And I don't know how many, is it millions of species that have ever lived on Earth, and it took all of those coming and going, and it's a gradient. I mean, to us it's like an uphill gradient, but to nature at large, we might be the cancer.
I just want to think about. No, I hate that.
I mean, yeah.
We're destroying the earth,
Yeah,
Nathan.
let's just all kill ourselves
Yeah.
right now. We're cancer.
There's
so
the
deer will
nihilistic-
live.
Yeah.
We're destroying the earth, guys. Come on.
So I would point out the one difference in all of that, what you're saying, and that is the human creative impulse, what drives. And I've had this feeling before. I wish I would have it more recently. I've just felt completely lazy and useless. But the creative impulse, and some people have it more than others, but the thing that drives people to make music, to paint, the fact that somebody can sit down and spawn an entire world, an entire universe. Somebody like Tolkien can create an entire world and languages just from out of his fucking head.
Yeah.
But he didn't do that overnight. You know that, right?
Well, yeah, I know.
I mean, that was a project
Years and
developed
years,
over
yeah.
time.
I know that, but it still came out of his head. I know it's based off of Norse mythology. I know he was a student of languages. But I'm saying that
You know more than me.
if you've ever read the Silmarillion,
I tried.
It's like more detailed than the Bible. It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, it was. I couldn't make
Yeah.
it. I got maybe
It's
a
an
quarter of the way
entire
through it.
it's an entire mythology that he just had in his notes just to be background for Lord of the Rings, and that's not. See, there's no evolutionary reason to do that, because evolution, like you said, it says resources and reproduction.
Yeah, and what accomplishes that the best is how
Right.
evolution
There's
works. Yeah.
nothing in evolution that says write Lord of the Rings. There's nothing in evolution that says. No, I'm serious. I'm really fucking serious.
I'm just thinking
Like,
about,
There's
hey,
no,
hey guys,
there's no
you need to write this.
reason for us to want to paint a painting,
Mhm.
unless you're specifically going, this chick will really love this painting.
Yeah, and actually, you know, it could be like a mutation, you know, and a mutation that caught on very well. Like, you know, there all of a sudden, like the first kid that ever wanted to draw something with a stick in the mud,
But if
and
you
he
feel,
picked up,
if
he
you-
got all the chicks, got all them chicks.
but if you feel that feeling, what that's like, it is not tied to that thing. It is not tied to, if I do this, then I'll get chicks.
No,
Because-
but neither is any other mutation that has ever caused any animal to reproduce more. It's not that they're like, oh, this is going to help me get chicks. It just does help them get chicks.
Yeah,
That's-
it depends on what context we're talking about,
Right,
like camouflage or. But what I'm saying is the feeling of that emergent, that creative thing is like, it's literally like a need that bubbles up from within your mind that says you really need to do this. Like you want to do other things, you want to waste your time and just eat food or do whatever, but it says you should be doing this. And it doesn't really fall in line with evolution.
Yeah, I think he might be onto something. here.
Yeah. I
Because
agree.
I was even trying to use nurturing as a differentiate, something, but that's not true. Because when you talk about the gradient, chimpanzees nurture all the time. Do ants nurture? I don't know.
They might.
I don't know about nurture.
I'm pretty sure that would be Googleable.
Yeah, Queen
I'm
Ant
pretty
comes
sure
in.
somebody has already done that. But I think the inspiration to create might, it's a bird has to build a nest because it has to build a nest.
Yeah, it's not art.
Yeah, it's not building a 2-story nest with a spiral staircase. It's just building a nest. And, they do build a nest and build onto it year after year, depending on the species. But I think if we're talking meaning of life, aside from consciousness, I think we're on to something about the need to create is singularly the need to create something original from oneself is central only to humans and not evolutionary. I mean, it may have developed over time. I don't know how. I don't know what gene switched on that made humans become creative, but they were painting in caves 50,000 years ago. I think they found something like that recently, too.
You know what's funny is I'm sitting here thinking this whole time, I don't have that though. I don't have the need to create as I'm writing a poem.
Right? every week you create something. And besides, a lot of it is you want what you create to be really good, whether it be something you do at work or there's a reason we like to color inside the lines. It looks better.
Yeah.
But some people like to color outside the lines, but by that in and of itself is a nature of creating.
It's actually a measurable trait.
Right.
Like in psychology, they call it openness, and they can give tests to people to say like, and here's one of them. You could like take a large, let's just say us, name things you could do with a brick.
Smash a head.
Throw it through a window.
Yeah.
There's a little frustration for the day.
Sleep on it as a pillow.
Give it to a dog to play with.
Use it as a seat cushion.
Kick it.
Drop it on your gas pedal.
Drop it on your groin.
Drop it on your girlfriend.
Fight it.
Yep. Drop it off a parking garage at West Town.
Drop
Throw
it.
it off a building.
Drop it like it's hot.
Try to
See-
fit in your pocket.
Crack
We're all-
eggs with it.
We are all creative people here. You can tell.
Build a house.
So scientists, yes.
With one brick.
So that's
That's
what
with-
scientists will like give those to people,
Yeah.
and they will
Bricks?
say, yeah,
Here's your brick. You're smart now.
they'll give the idea of a brick to a person and to like 100 people and say, name as many things you can do with a brick in 1 minute.
Mhm.
And they can do different tests like that, and they can actually measure like some people are actually innately more creative than other people.
Stuff your turkey with a brick.
Useful things to do with a brick, not just anything. Useful things.
Have you ever
Useful.
hung out with like a hyper creative person, like someone that is just constantly has to like my example is the band I used to be in, our lead singer was that way. Just like you could never like do anything. You just wanted to sit around and like write songs, play guitar and stuff. And like to me it was fun, but he was like hyper creative and like just couldn't stop.
I think Brian is like that.
Yeah.
He does write an awful lot of songs throughout the day, just right then and there.
Just
on
like
the spot.
fucking around, yeah.
I do not.
You do.
Tom makes a lot.
We
of
need to
songs.
hear
He's
these
always
songs,
putting
Dave.
something up. Huh?
We need to hear these songs you create, Dave.
I get to hear Dave's songs all day
I see his
long.
dances sometimes.
Yeah.
I've only seen it twice.
catch
I
his
don't know anything
dances.
about this. Oh, this exists. And
It also seems that like the more creative someone is, like the harder they are to relate to, but more simply put, just the crazier they are. Like the more out of the norm. Like the most crazy or the most creative people are the craziest.
That's what. Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe that's just my one example of like the most creative person I've ever known.
One of my favorite. When I was a teenager, one of my favorite writers was the guy Terry Brooks. He wrote like the Sword of Shannara, and
Mm-hmm.
so yeah. So his book about writing, he talked about that. He was like, it's hard for me to socialize because when I'm with people all the time, my mind is just in another world.
Right.
Like when even he's with other people, his brain is still working on his stories and his universe is still developing even when he's with other people. That's the kind of hyper creative. That mind is just working. It's just like,
I'd like to see that mind on an MRI.
yeah, I mean, that would be interesting. Like, I have tried to do that before. Like when I do get into writing something, I try to maintain that mindset throughout the day, and it is pretty hard. It is taxing almost. It's like it's like brain work. It's literally like if you can, like I've been working out quite a bit the last half year, 3 or 4 times a week. It is very similar to that, but on a mental level. Because when you're actually doing those creative things, your brain actually feels tired, and it's like I can't think about this now. I gotta sit down and
Have a coffee.
play Red Dead and watch Mad Men or something. You know, like I can't do it. Like,
Watch someone else's creation.
right. Watch these geniuses that made Red Dead. I would like to shake every one of their hands.
Yeah, really.
What's going on, y'all?
What's up, y'all? Meaning of life. Let's follow it.
I feel like it went pretty well. It went as good as I hoped it could have.
I mean, when I read that, I went, "He's not serious, is it?"
Yeah,
and then,
fucking
but
serious.
yeah, now once we talk about it, it's
Because people say that and joke about it, but they never actually talk about
Yeah, I was gonna say I had a lot more to say than I expected to about it.
I think it's also the fear of not wanting to sound stupid because we don't know.
Well, nobody fucking knows. How
That's
could we sound stupid? Nobody knows.
And you don't want to be caught taking seriously such a rhetorical question. You know,
It's
like,
not rhetorical though. I don't.
Why not?
I mean,
look
it's rhetorical in the sense that there's no way to actually, come to a conclusion.
right, but that doesn't mean that people
I think the
shouldn't look
conclusion
for.
is within yourself.
That's right. That's what I'm saying. There's no
City
objective.
That yeah. If you watch City Slickers,
Yeah, oh yeah.
that's what
Oh
Curly
wait,
said.
it's what is it?
He says it's one thing, and that's for your own self.
Yeah, you got to figure that out.
That's the meaning of life.
It's for your own self.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know Curly said that.
I feel
Yeah.
like. Do you think is it possible we will figure out when we die?
Oh, I think you'll figure it out before then.
Like that 1 second before.
Like
then?
immediately before that DMT trip, right before you
Right when
go.
you go, "Ugh."
I think that
Right when Steve Jobs went, wow.
I think that just based on how much, and we've discussed this before, how much we change over a 10-year period. I think at some point, as your personal growth throughout your life, as any individual does, any constructive person, you gain a little more wisdom of who you are and what the world means to you each decade goes. And I'd say somewhere maybe 10 years before you die, you might actually figure it out. I think.
Is that when you just go?
Well, you've made peace with what is important.
That's when you start feeling all the regret for things you haven't
Yeah,
done.
then the regret sets in.
You start hiking your pants up too high, and you go to brunch every day, and then you go to sleep at 6:30.
And start wishing they had bingo every night.
You got to be eating around 4.
Dave, did you find the meaning of life?
No way.
Oh.
When's the last time you played bingo, Dave? Be honest.
It's a constant struggle, I'm afraid, for me. I mean, it starts with what makes you happy. Once you figure that out, then it's a building thing. I mean,
I don't really believe in happiness.
well, then
Have you ever felt happy?
Well, sure, but I don't think that it's the goal, the thing
Like a
you
driving
should.
factor.
Because I feel like happiness is like the good things that happen along the way. But if you're looking for the goals that you have should be bigger than just happiness. Because if you're just aiming at happiness, you're going to get it for 1 second and then it's going to float away. The thing is to aim constantly for bigger and bigger things. And then happiness will happen along the way,
Okay.
along with pain and all, because pain is always going to be there. And almost in a sense that happiness is just the absence of pain, in a sense.
Well,
The yin and the yang.
I mean, that's damn near Buddhist quote.
Is it?
Yeah.
Am I a Buddha? No, I'm not a Buddha.
I
Have
mean,
you touched the ground and
You know, I
declared
read
that you're
books,
Buddha?
that's very.
The more
I
I
almost read that verbatim.
the more I
before.
learn about Buddhism, the more my brain gets all fucked up. So it's like I've kind of backed off of Buddhism for a while because I can't deal with it.
I'm really I mean, I haven't finished this book, but it is a book by the Dalai Lama on religion, and
Yeah.
I find that is helpful to just go, oh, I didn't know. He starts listing off religions, and I went, that's a religion? What? How do you pronounce that?
I
Go
feel
on.
like Nathan's shirt is a Buddhist monk orange over there.
Oh no, this is a what is it?
I don't know.
Oh,
Looks like abstract art from
Yeah,
here.
it's Portal 2. It's a Portal 2 shirt.
Oh,
Great game.
I thought it was the Foxhound logo from here.
That's a good guess, but no, it's got robots on it.
Robots.
It's a butterfly.
They're the future.
If you want to get into that shit, go on YouTube and look up Ram Dass's lectures. Go listen to some Ram Dass, and he'll fuck your brain up for a while.
Oh.
Dave, what are you doing?
I just
Looking up a fart noise.
12:04. I got a news thing at 12:04. President H.W. Bush has died at 94.
Oh,
Got a
no.
town.
Yeah. Take a shot for Bush death.
Oh, I guess we have to.
You ain't going to get your W back after Trump.
Yeah,
That was HW. We could still get W back.
Herbert Walker.
Did you guys see that they're making a Dick Cheney movie?
Herbert Walker.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
should
it
be
looks
good.
awesome.
And he looks badass.
I'm afraid it's gonna make.
Oh, I don't need any of that stuff.
Oh.
Afraid it's gonna make
It's terrible.
the other Bush look bad though.
That's the one with Christian Bale and somebody else.
Give that one to Patrick. Harry.
Are you drinking more of that vocabulary killing nonsense?
Yes.
He's
Oh.
turning on my poem
This is
too.
for
What's
her-
gonna happen?
Oh, it's gonna.
I got
to erase all the words.
a short video that Steve-O should play that I sent to Steve-O.
Listen,
We're taking a shot
After,
to the next
after
one.
this
George,
shot,
Listen, George H.W. Bush. He went skydiving when he was like 90 years old.
I believe that's correct.
He was
yes.
doing it like every year.
went
For like a year.
Skydiving, I went. Rockin' Mountain climbing, I went. On a 7-second. On a bull
Yeah.
named Fu Manchu.
It was his daddy,
Mhm.
George H.W.
I'm going to put it in on the notes. George H. Bush dies in a
H.W.
bit of
Bush.
H.W. Bush dies on our podcast.
Oh, God. Well, we're gonna get some listens, maybe.
Oh, I'll put dies while we're recording.
No, good.
George-
Perfect.
Eyes on.
Clickbait, man.
Our
Clickbait.
podcast.
Come on.
Yeah.
Clickbait.
George Bush dies live on podcast.
Didn't he like?
They stayed with us all the way to this point.
Have you seen
We
the
got
video where he like throws up on the Japanese prime minister?
Yes.
He did what now?
He threw up on the Japanese prime
He
minister.
got sick.
Oh.
You know what
Yeah.
this feels like? It feels like we're at a wake. We're all just like drinking and
George
telling
Bush.
stories about him.
Drinking. What's the meaning of life? Like, really?
Remember
What do
that
you think it
time?
is?
Remember that time he refused to eat broccoli?
I remember when he tried to kill Reagan to take his place. And then he just took his place 4 years later.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Played the waiting game.
nobody really liked him anyway. He was just the VP.
Was he the one that said no new taxes
Yeah.
when he's trying to run?
Gonna
the
do it.
Who knew Texas?
I ain't gonna do it. Oh man.
Cheers,
To
George
George W.
Herbert
Bush.
Walker
Oh.
Bush.
Cheers.
Get your alcohol, get your caffeine. Pour one out.
God, y'all. Why, y'all? That face, Becca.
It's better without this.
It
The
is.
strawberry shit.
Becca, you're making a face like you're sticking your toe in a meat grinder.
Ugh.
Hey, Brad, do you have a? Can you tell us why he died? It's just been.
Oh, I just got a text. that-
Meaning of life.
He's just really
got a
fucking
top
old?
news. Yeah,
Yeah,
I just
so
got a,
this just
Oh,
came
it was
out.
you. It was
Yeah,
Brad for
it was
some reason
Dave.
that
No.
announced it.
No, I just got a text saying the same thing at the exact same time Dave was
Got a
announcing.
text.
Yeah.
Who texted
Why
you?
you get a text
to
alert for
say
that?
My mom texted me.
Oh.
George H.W.
Brad, can you read this text for your mom?
Yeah, let's hear this.
Yeah. All it says is Pres George H.W. Bush just died.
Wow.
That's all it is.
Honey, I know that you
Mama,
may not
I
take
think I
this
told
one.
her in the past about a celebrity death that I saw on I think I was on 4chan when Michael Jackson died, and then the news started to report it about 30 minutes later that Michael Jackson died.
Yeah.
Oh, so she's just returning the favor of the
I guess,
quick.
yeah,
the quick
I
news.
guess I've told, quick news is quick.
Oh yeah. She, oh, so she OG won.
She saw that. She saw that, and she's like, "I bet Bradley doesn't know this yet. I'm gonna return that favor."
Well, I also knocked out Billy Mays and when we killed Osama bin Laden,
Yeah.
Oh,
because I was on
Oh,
4chan
so you
when
guys
that
have a
happened
thing
too.
going where you tell each other celebrity deaths.
We know something before everybody else does. We're going to
Yeah,
tell.
definitely.
I like that. I like
bringing families together, one celebrity death at a time.
We're going to know something before somebody else does.
that. So I was not old enough to vote for H.W. Bush, but I did. Well, actually, Steve and I turned 18 a month before the 2000.
More like 4 or 5 days. I mean,
Yeah.
election
Yeah, like-
days. Yeah, it's like the first week of November, right?
Yep.
You can
so
still
less than
vote?
a week.
Oh yeah,
Turned
yeah. It
18.
was in fact it was my my American history teacher who actually happened to be running for Congress that year. But he was like getting everybody to
Hey,
register to
y'all vote
vote.
for me. You
Yeah.
get a letter grade up. How's that sound?
Oh,
You're failing my class. You want a D? You better vote, bitch.
Well, actually, that did happen to me because I mean, I really liked him. I thought he was a good teacher, and I got along with him real well. And happened to be in that very short period of time in my life where I was building websites. So I built him a campaign website, and he let me sleep through his class and passed me with a C.
Cool.
I did ask him one time, like this was after I graduated, hung out with him, played some Risk one night, and I was like, you remember how like I would sometimes catch a nap in your class? I always kind of felt bad about that. He's like, well, you probably should, because it kind of made me feel bad that you were always back there sleeping. Like, I'm real sorry about that.
I did not get to vote for Herbert Walker Bush, but I did register as a Republican and vote for his dear son W in the 2000 election.
What a time to wait for the adjective. Which one will he use?
I did vote for W. Bush in 2000, and then the first time I ever voted.
I think
I voted for W the first time, and then I don't think I voted the second. No, I think I still voted for Bush the second
You're not
time.
that old. How old are you?
I'm 32, bro.
Yeah, you're not old enough to
Yeah,
vote.
you would have.
Oh, so his next time around.
Yeah, he would have voted for him the second term.
So the
No,
second term, I was like,
Yeah.
"What the fuck has happened?" I didn't vote. I don't think I voted for anybody's second term of W. Bush, but
I think W had the best marketing team of any president because they had those cool little black stickers, the little square black stickers that just said W, and under it said "My President" or the President. W, the President.
good. It's bold,
Yeah.
black.
And then he came to Heritage High School that year. Yeah, it was my senior year. He was giving some talk up in Townsend, and on the way back, the motorcade stopped right in front of Heritage, and everybody ran down to 321 from the cafeteria and got. I mean, I didn't shake his hand. I was like two people back, but whatever.
That was his No Child Left Behind
Oh,
tour
yeah.
he was on, because Townsend had done some pretty amazing things. Townsend
Yeah,
Elementary.
Townsend did,
Worked out
huh?
well.
What?
Townsend, all three students.
What
Wow.
year was that?
It would have been 2000 or 2001. I think it was 2001.
I moved here in 2002, and I remember that. I was in 8th grade. I was at Heritage Middle School, and I remember that day. So I guess would have been 2002.
Could have been.
Well, okay, so I was in school, so it had to have been 2001 because I was still in school and I graduated 2001. So it would have had to have been shortly after he took office in 2001. And I'm sure this is all very exciting, us trying to nail down the exact date.
Our listeners
Great.
love this. What are you talking about? This is great shit. You
I
guys.
gotta take the other half of this shot
Yeah,
for
let
George
Becca
H.W. Bush.
All right, well, in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and play Patrick's video.
Video. Yeah,
Oh, you got a video?
yeah. Just watch it.
Now, a little girl with an unusual first name, which spells out the first 5 letters of the alphabet. Her mother is accusing an airline employee of name shaming her little girl.
Southwest Airlines is apologizing today after one of its gate agents reportedly name-shamed this adorable 5-year-old girl who was traveling with her mom. The kid's name is spelled A-B-C-D-E and pronounced Absidy. Her mom, Tracy Redford, says she overheard a Southwest gate agent laughing at her daughter's name as they were pre-boarding. Redford says the little girl asked her, "Mom, why is she laughing at my name?"
There's supposed to be professionalism and service, and this is unprofessional.
What the employee did was wrong, but don't name your children the first 5 letters of the alphabet either, because they got to live through that.
Mom and daughter were traveling from Orange County, California to El Paso, Texas, where they live. Adding insult to injury, the agent also posted the boarding pass to Facebook. Southwest Airlines issued a statement saying, "We extend our sincere apology to the family. The post is not indicative of the care, respect, and civility we expect from all of our employees."
I didn't like that they said they were speaking to the employer. I don't know why she still has her job.
So, Absidy, be proud of your name. It's a great name, as easy
No, it's
as
not.
A, B, C,
I'm gonna
D,
name my
E.
kid LMNO.
Southwest says they will use the
Emineno. That's what we used to say when we were kids. Emineno.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, there is. Few people name that. Yeah.
LMNO?
No.
Elemento.
Yeah.
I like that. Elemento.
They use that as like a stage name.
I should rename my cat LMNO.
Yeah.
Or don't.
Okay.
Just imagine school where they're learning the alphabet and they get to Elemento, and then all the kids stand up and point at the kid every single time until he graduates.
The words.
The New York alphabets.
The kid fist fights anybody who starts singing the alphabet song.
Why would you do that to your kid?
Well,
Yeah,
they'll be
I'm
in
sorry.
a fight, hopefully.
Yeah, all this outrage about her. I mean, yeah, she's a dick for making fun of the little girl, but the mom is a much bigger dick. She has cursed her child to ridicule for the rest of her life because she thought it'd be clever.
Yeah.
She thought she's making a funny joke.
She couldn't come up with a fucking name.
Well,
no
you
name sounded right. She
you
had 48 hours. She couldn't leave the hospital until she put a name on the birth certificate. And
she's like, fuck it, ABCD. Fuck it.
Oh man.
It can be the first 5 letters of the alphabet. I don't care. I'm giving her up for adoption.
Her daddy don't care. He done left already.
He wasn't here.
And then she realized one day, wait a minute, somebody is going to make fun of my daughter, and in today's society, I'll totally be able to make some money off of this somehow.
Name shaming.
Yeah.
Name shaming just means you have a dumb person involved in naming somebody else.
well, because your mother's a dumbass.
I was a dumbass, Darren.
I mean, I
Right
should have
after you
just
got
gotten a
pregnant.
tattoo on my face.
I was high on one of them epidurals, honey. I don't know what happened.
You guys hear about Twitter's new terms of service?
What's going on now?
You cannot. You can be banned from Twitter if you dead name
What's
any
dead
trans person.
What do you mean dead name? What's
Oh, you call them by their old name?
Yeah.
Oh,
so
okay.
if you call Caitlyn Jenner Bruce Jenner, that's dead naming. It's like unpersoning them.
Is it
it's
like
harassment?
Is it the same thing like Canada? Like you constantly do it, or is it just
You do it once on accident.
one time?
You sneak on your friend's Twitter account and just at Caitlyn Jenner, Bruce Jenner, Bruce Jenner, Bruce Jenner. Poof.
You just
Your
post
Twitter account is
articles-
gone forever.
Yeah, you just post articles from the 80s or whatever when he won all those gold medals, saying Bruce Jenner wins the gold.
Remember when you wrecked into somebody and murdered them? Bruce Jenner.
Yeah, how do you tweet that Bruce Jenner, an anniversary of his Olympic record one year, the guy that beat the record can't tweet about beating Bruce
beat
Jenner's
Bruce.
record because
He's still alive as
He's-
Caitlyn Jenner.
yeah.
I
So
want Caitlyn
I
Jenner
go-
to say Bruce Jenner just so
I
she
beat
gets
a
banned.
record today by somebody who used to race, but I can't say their name.
It wasn't Caitlyn, but
Spoiler alert, it was me.
You know you want to.
I'm not gonna let myself
After
get mad.
last week, you get so mad, you getting all cranked up.
I'm not gonna let myself because I've been in a bad mood all day and I'm in a good mood now.
Starts on the pinky toe, starts
Yeah.
working its way up your calf to your knee, right straight up to your
No,
noggin.
I'm not gonna let myself get mad about this.
Okay.
Leave me alone. I'm pissed about this.
People lose.
It took like 5 seconds. We just worked it up. She's all
Just cracked like an egg.
Sarah Becca, this
Let's hear it,
microphone's
Becca.
about to collapse.
Yeah.
That's right. You only got so much. Come on, tell us
We got so
about
much microphone
how nice we all need to be to one another.
Listen, I don't. This is everything I want to say right now is something I've already said about this shit. It just makes me so mad that people think that they deserve
anything.
just any little thing that they want, and if they don't get it, fuck you, dude. You're fucked.
You're a horrible person.
You can't address me the way I want to be addressed. You sound like a fucking queen. Like you walk up to somebody, kiss my fucking ring, bitch. If you call me something other than what I want to be called, off with your fucking head. It's so stupid. I've got to
Come on,
back
tell
off
us
now.
what the Cachaca is telling
I
you.
have to back off.
Tell us what the
Okay, you
Cachaca
want
is
some more
telling you.
Another shot.
No, I don't want to.
I need the Cachaca logic.
Do we need another shot of Cachaca
Oh,
in memory
no.
of our past names?
I'm good now.
My name's not Nathan anymore. I want to be called. My name is spelled XYZ. Call me
How's it pronounced? Ease.
Oh,
Ziz.
you know
I would
Call
say
me
Ziz.
Ziz?
Don't you dare call. Don't you call him Ziz? How dare you call him Ziz?
You don't deserve a Twitter anymore.
It's Ziz.
I did not give you
Ziz?
permission to change the pronunciation of my fake
So-
name.
well,
The
I
world
was.
doesn't need to hear anything you have to say because you can't say that.
See, Ziz is just, it's way more laid back.
Oh yeah.
Ziz it's a little too aggressive.
It's too in your face.
Yeah, I like
In
Ziz.
your bigoted face.
I'm just Ziz, man. Ziz. So what you doing? I'm just Ziz.
I'm just this,
Is
mate.
that how you normally answer what you do? No, Nathan.
That's it.
Ziz.
I'm
Cachaca.
What you doing? I'm just Nathan.
Ziz what a Ziz.
Just Nathan, you know. This.
I'm
Nathan.
just zizzing. Zizzing
I'm
and
just
zazzing.
Ziz.
I'm doing that Buddhist shit. I'm just Ziz.
Did you say I'm doing that booty shit?
Buddhist.
It's
Yeah, Buddhist, booty. Yeah, either one. Either one.
sign me up.
The dude that plays Credence and Fantastic Beast, he also does Flash.
Oh god, that guy's
That dude.
terrible.
Yeah,
The guy
I
with
was
the
on the
eyes.
IMDb.
Oh,
Huh?
The guy with the eyes, the creepy guy.
Ezra Miller.
Yes, I was reading his IMDb page and I thought it was like a typo. And his pronoun is they, that he wanted to be referred to as. I was so confused. I'm like, what the fuck's going on here? Went to Wikipedia and that's what he
Yeah.
said. He's like, I'm into everything,
Yeah.
and I prefer to be called they.
He
Hearing that, it's weird.
he is possibly the most obnoxious person I've ever seen.
Yeah.
There is a great video, and I think it was for the Justice League movie,
hmm
where him and the woman that played Wonder Woman, Gal Gadot, are being interviewed, and they're asking each other questions, and he's like, just tell everybody you're smashing the patriarchy. And she's just looking at him like she wants to fucking kill him, but she has to be nice to him because they're in the same movie,
Yeah.
and he's a they. So, and he is so overbearing with his flamboyant weirdness,
hmm
and you could tell she's just so uncomfortable and just trying to be nice to him.
So he's
It's-
like the now version of the guy from the B-52s.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, just go
those
to his
impressions
IMDb
are-
page, and you'll read his biography. Even Wikipedia, it says they do this. It's fucking weird and confusing.
And it should be they does this.
Yeah,
PC bullshit.
It's a rock lobster is what it is.
Bye, Dave.
Dave's bladder done right.
Dave says I'm done.
Yeah,
I'm
this
out
has
of this
been-
bitch.
This has been a long one. I
Too
feel.
much rock star.
We're just having too much fun, is what it is.
All that caffeine y'all took.
I like Cachaca.
All that Cachaca. South American caffeine.
Well, I finished.
How do you spell that name? That
Wait a minute.
drink again?
It's all C's.
Just
C-A-
C.
CACHA, and there's a C with a weird curly thing underneath it.
And it's
underneath it.
You get to pick which C.
Yeah, it's the last C, and then it's just A. So you could probably just say Cachaca.
Chaka.
but it's pronounced Absidy.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
That's
it's
right.
pronounced Ziz.
When I seen that, I was like, what the fuck? I was like,
Yeah,
I would make fun of it too if I see it.
I predict she will be going by her middle name, whatever that might be, and
I think
as
she'll
soon as
come-
she.
Once
I-
she gets grown up,
I
And
did.
now that place.
What if her middle name is like FGHI?
It's her middle name is the rest of the alphabet,
Yeah.
and then her last name is Smith.
I will predict that girl will probably kill herself once she hits middle school.
Or
high
she will completely embody that and become another insanely entitled person, just like
I'll
her
bet.
mother.
Oh no, here comes Ab City again. She's such a bitch. Hi guys, do you know how to spell my name?
Tell us how to smash the patriarchy, Rhapsody.
I'll bet her full
Rock
name
Lobster.
is
Absidy Jafed. No, nope.
Yeah, how do you pronounce that? Go ahead.
Absidy middle name
Oh,
Smith.
yeah.
That's it.
Her
That's
full
it.
name is middle name. That's the kind of parents she's got.
That scared the shit out of me.
That flush or
What
that cat?
The cat.
That
A
cat
little of both.
was underneath the sink, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it loves it.
That fucking cat just
Yeah, I've
come
seen
right out
that.
there. I mean, I'm just doing my business, and
Why
that cat comes out.
The cat gets
Scared
underneath the
me.
sink and
Yeah.
just chills
Why
there.
is it open?
No,
It doesn't- it
the cat
opens it on
opens
its
it up.
own.
I've watched the cat do this last
Yeah,
week.
I saw the cat open the door and come out, and it was running around inside the bathroom because it had no idea who I was and what the fuck was going on. And that's why you heard me. I was like, Jesus Christ, because it scared the shit out of me.
I thought I did hear
And then it was running around the bathroom in there. It was like, "Meh, meh." And then it didn't know what to do because it was trying to go out the door. And, well, because I shut the door when I used the bathroom. God damn. And then
Thank
it went up to
goodness.
the sink and it just boop, 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 and it's staring at me while it's moving its hand trying to get the thing open.
Swan at your balls.
It's turning the door open and it's got one eye on me. It finally gets in, choop, shoots right up underneath there.
Yeah, me and Bowie worked out that prank earlier.
See, this is
We
this.
found the real
In the bathroom.
life here.
It's just part of the evolution, man. Next week, the cat's gonna be pondering, the meaning of life.
Yeah, it's going to develop a consciousness anytime now.
Balls.
I mean,
We'll have a drone that
it's meditating underneath the
Going out.
fucking sink.
Yeah, it's gonna make the drone so the drone can catch the mouse and then it can just sit there and ponder
Right.
sitting in a beanbag chair.
with a pipe.
That is all we are. Huh? That's just us.
That's. I mean, really, that's all we are. That's all. I mean, because if humanity gets snuffed out,
Cats will take
nothing is gonna care. The only
Because
emotion
we are controlling things with the capacity to care. That's the point.
right.
Yeah.
Right. There would be no sadness. There would be no one to feel sad about it.
So that means
Oh,
we're
right.
different. That means we're different and important.
Well, I mean, we're entitled, so of course we're important.
Some of us are more entitled than others.
Ziz is definitely more entitled. Thank you, everyone. This has been a Ziz podcast. Everything you've done. We've had a great time. Thank you, Cachaca.
Yeah, Cachaca.
Thank you,
Thank
George
you.
H.W. Bush.
George
R.I.P.
W. Bush for dying on our podcast exclusively.
This might be our big break.
Thank you, Andy.
Absidy.
Absidy, thank you very much. I hope your life gets better.
Oh yeah.
I expect it won't.
Probably not. Not for a while. Not till you get away from your crazy mother.
Felt a bad hand. Yeah. Becca, you've done some writing tonight.
I finished my poem a long time ago.
The creative impulse has captured you, and it has captured your imagination. You have created a thing of beauty for all of us to enjoy.
Again. This one.
She's smug about it too.
She is.
I said some of us are more entitled than others.
She's very clear about that.
All right, so is it time? Can I read this now?
Oh,
Wait,
yeah.
1 second.
What is this
Are you guys-
intro that I
hold on.
always do for? I mean,
Let me finish.
No, let's talk about fart noises.
Are- I mean,
Is there a meaning behind the fart noises?
There it is.
what have I done?
if I fart and you laugh, does that mean we are a higher species?
I've never seen a cow laugh at its own fart.
Yes,
Absolutely.
absolutely. I've never seen a cow laugh at a fart.
Everybody see that 9-foot tall cow?
Shit.
Photoshop.
That's why everyone's so mad about cow farts and global warming, man. Because if the fucking cows aren't laughing at their own farts, do they understand how funny
They
that
make a
is?
butter cow every year for the Ohio State Fair.
You know, this is why I ask every time, because you guys clearly have so much more important stuff to say.
It's that Mayfield cow.
You gave us that opening. That's what
Yeah.
it is. You give us
No,
the
that's
opening.
not true. You guys needed to get more of your creative stuff out.
Dave, that's not real.
That gold
That's
cow?
not a real cow.
It's a real cow.
No,
Not a
it's
real-
not.
6'4".
And,
That is
now
not
it's
a real
6 foot
cow.
cow?
That is
It's
not.
not made out of butter. It's
Where's
bullshit.
the
It's
6 foot
bullshit.
cow?
Australia.
It is a bullshit cow, Dave.
Yep.
It's not real.
The cow's filled
You've
with
been
bullshit.
had by the internet.
Full of bullshit. Knock on the side of it.
The cow is filled with bullshit.
Don't run a car into it. You'll see what happens.
Nathan loved that one.
See where you can fit that in the car.
It was a good one. It ain't just Cachaca stupid. It's a good one.
I feel like there has to be some kind of mental palate cleanser that I can issue to the listeners right now so that they can get their heads away from everything you guys just said and dive back into.
Becca, I gave you the moment to do it, and then you paused and then let us have an opening to,
You didn't take
to
it.
just completely. It was all you. It was on you.
Life gave you.
Hit her with the
Yeah.
fart noise.
So Becca,
Don't put
I gave
this
you
on
this
me.
huge intro too. I talked about the amazingness of your poetry and your art, and I talked about it was transcendent beyond the normal animal understanding. So please, Becca, one more time. It is your time. Your words of art to tell us.
You can hear her tears through the
what you
microphone.
want to say. Crying into
Why
the
are you
microphone.
crying into
The
the microphone?
phone- The foam
They
cover
can't
thing.
hear
It feels
water.
good on my head.
It's
My head
soaking up
hurts.
the tears. The Cachaca has made her head hurt.
Cachaca.
Don't worry, it'll be over soon.
That's what it says on the side of the bottle.
You made a grave error, but don't worry, it'll be over soon.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about anything.
Don't worry, it will be over soon.
And so will my poem. This is called Hi, I'm Insight. I landed. I'd know if it had happened to me, but that might not be enough. What if it's intended to get messy? We can examine ourselves. The glasses through which you look will connect you to different patterns, set functions that do not deviate, a universe developing within your mind. What if the ego emerges, and instead of asking how far we can go, we aim to go beyond that?
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys stay in the mindset of insight? I totally heard that as insight speaking.
Yeah.
It was perfect.
Oh.
From
Yeah,
Insight, it was perfect.
maybe Insight has some lessons for us.
It was beautiful. That was,
You know what else is beautiful?
what's that, Patrick?
Leaving 5-star review on iTunes.
It is beautiful.
Everybody loves that.
Yeah. Or sending us money on Patreon.
Or leaving a voicemail to say you're not doing either one of those things.
Yeah, do that. Call us
Yeah.
and leave us a voicemail and say, I am not leaving a review and I'm not donating on patreon.com/verbalassault.
Because you clickbaited us and you're assholes.
And use the voice changer if you do it, so we don't kick your ass.
Please do. And that phone number is 865-316-6955. Take it away, Dave.
865-316-6955.
Wow.
Dave looked like a Muppet when he was saying that.
I got
Thank you.
gooses.
Thank you, everyone.